This video is brought to you by Squarespace. From custom domains to beautiful websites using their easily customizable templates that you can have up and running in minutes, e-commerce, email and email marketing, SEO, analytics, and scheduling, Squarespace does it all and has done it for us for the last 11 years. If you are a small to mid-sized business in any industry, Squarespace is the place to go for all of your website needs. Hop over to www.squarespace.com/Hugh for a free trial. And if you like what you see and want to move forward, receive 10% off your first order by using the discount code Hugh at checkout. Thanks, Squarespace. Hey guys, quick intro here as I increasingly look backwards at 11 years on YouTube for new insights and our latest episode of From the Archives. Although first, quick announcements from our friendly neighborhood Department of Commerce. 1. Due to popular demand, we've added a third Streets of New York workshop this October, the 12th through the 15th. The first two sold out, and the remaining seats for this one are going quickly. 2. Seats are still available for our Streets of Tokyo workshop coming up this November 30th through December 3rd. It'll be our 6th time in Japan over the last 4 years, so that ought to tell you something. In either case, visit 3bmep.com/streets26 to sign up or learn more and grab an early bird discount while you can. Okay, on to the main event. One of the things I'm thinking about these days is the relative paucity of my coverage of Fujifilm over the past couple of years. A single video so far this year on the Mini EVO Cinema, just 3 videos for all of last year. I was reminded of this when I learned last week before, that Fujikina 2026 will be held in New York City this October, immediately following our workshop, and that in turn reminded me of just how long some of us have been waiting for an X Pro 4. Interesting thing too, because in the interim, used X Pro 3s in excellent condition are going for just about 100% of the original launch price these many years later. I remember clearly what I thought about the X Pro 3 back then, so I thought I'd reshare with you my review of it and ask, A, for those of you who've had or still own one, how have you enjoyed your time with the X Pro 3? What would it take for you to trade in your X Pro 3 for a theoretical X Pro 4? That is, what would an X Pro 4 have to offer, have to do better than what you already have, for what specific use cases to get it? B, what lenses did or continue to rock your world? What lenses are you still waiting for? What lenses disappointed you? C, given all the time that's passed, have you moved beyond the X Pro series? Have you moved beyond APS-C altogether? D, in fact, how have your needs and priorities evolved over this time? What other thoughts do you have about the cameras, the industry, your own growth? And E, for those of you who've never heard of, had the interest in, or the pleasure of an X Pro Series 1, 2, or 3, how does this video land for you? Are you intrigued by the X Pro Series? Perhaps fatigued by the incessant stream of breathless announcements that seem to affect pretty much every sector and type of social media these days? Anyway, here you go, a blast from the past, from our archives, Fujifilm's X Pro 3, 7 years later. Sometimes, all it takes is a single shot the first hour or two you have a camera or lens in hand to know precisely why it speaks to your eye, your heart, your head, and your soul. Hey everybody, I'm Hugh Brownstone for 3 Blind Men and an Elephant, and today I want to talk briefly about Fujifilm's X Pro 3, which I had the opportunity to shoot with over 2 days last week during New York's Photo Plus Expo. It's going to be brief for 6 reasons. Yeah, okay, maybe it won't be that brief. First, it's an evolution of the X Pro 2, which I reviewed actually just over a year ago, 2 years after launch. Instead of recounting all the goodness inherited from that camera, let me simply encourage you to watch that video first if you're not already familiar with the X Pro line. I'll put a link up here and down below in the show notes as well. Now that I think about it, I also encourage you to check out my videos on the X-T2 and especially the X-T3, from which the X Pro 3 inherits its sensor and processor. Second, There are exactly 3 differences between the 2 and 3 that matter if you're at all like me. The rear screen, of course, as well as improved EVF and autofocus. Third, there are exactly 2 shared characteristics with the X Pro 2 that matter if, again, you're at all like me. The compact, lightweight, rangefinder-style body and extensive, dedicated, high-quality APS-C lens line. All of Fujifilm's latest ILC APS-C cameras share the brilliant film simulations, touch interface, and reasonably structured menu systems, so I'm not going to get into that. Fourth, the X Pro 3 most closely aligns with and dramatically undercuts the price of 2 of my favorite cameras of all time, Leica's APS-C CL, my personal camera, and their full-frame M10D, to which the X Pro 3 clearly pays homage, and which keeps whispering softly in my ear, budget and wallet be damned. Fifth, there are exactly 6 things that don't rock my world. The still small though improved EVF, the still small unchanged battery, the still small and a bit fiddly secondary controls, the still present and unchanged analog ISO selector, more on that, the new smudgy Duracoat finish, the lack of IBIS, and finally, 6th, with all of this said, a single shot taken just an hour before I had to return the camera to Fujifilm convinced me that for those who understand and appreciate the appeal of the X Pro 2 or the CL or M10D, M10P, or M10, street shooters, photography-only shooters, those of us who revel in the process of shooting with intent and deliberation, those of us who want an optical viewfinder experience, those of us who want a rangefinder-style camera, those of us who prioritize size and weight above most other things, or those of us for whom limitations are essential to creativity, the $1,800 X Pro 3 is a compelling piece of kit. A worthwhile upgrade, a real alternative to Leica for those who cannot or choose not to pony up the dollars for one. Of course, for those of us who are not like that, who don't understand or appreciate these kinds of things or these particular omissions or quirks, which is fine, I get it, it's all good. There are so many other amazing cameras these days at every price point, including Fujifilm's own X-T3 or X100F, which I should add right now, during the silly season, are selling for as low as I've ever seen them, $1,300 and $1,100 respectively. Or something like the iPhone 11 Pro, seriously. But hold that thought for another time. Let's take a look at what's possible handheld with one lens, essentially straight out of camera, except for crops and black and white conversion. Like this. Fujifilm makes great cameras and glass, full stop. They have the most complete, compelling, and accessibly priced APS-C dedicated lens line out there, and when it comes to their bodies and menu system, they seem to start with the photographer and work backwards from there, which, in my book, is the right thing to do and not at all the way too many camera companies operate. But it is the last image in the X Pro 3 montage I just shared with you that made it crystal clear to me why this camera is so interesting, why this camera, were I not already invested in Leica, would probably be the way I'd go for my personal street work. Unless I went for the XT3 instead. Hold that thought. Because while I loved, I say that all the time, the XT2 and love the newer XT3 even more for its improved autofocus, EVF, and dedicated ISO dial, appreciate the compact size and weight, image quality, weather sealing, and again, accessible pricing of Fujifilm's XF glass lineup, and recognize that the ethics of street photography are worthy of an extended discussion, one which we have in our workshops in person. What the X Pro 3 allowed me to do here was capture a decisive moment, framed the way I wanted it. Okay, I should have had the 23 instead of the 35, my bad. Completely unseen. Unnoticed. Put differently, it allowed me to capture the moment without disturbing the moment, or the moment after that. This was a function of the flip-down rear screen, which allowed me, because I could see the darn thing even in bright light and didn't have to futz with it, to rotate the camera 90 degrees, hold it close to waist level, and line things up ahead of the shot. And it was a function of the improved autofocus, which I then trusted to do the rest at the moment I actually walked by and tripped the shutter. All in a package so light that I went all day long without really even feeling it on my shoulder. In this regard, you can argue that it is superior to the M10 series because while it comes closer than any camera other than the M10D to the feel of analog shooting, it is also the case that the flip-down screen, weather sealing, and phase detect autofocus make it more usable and accessible for more people than the M10P and original M10 variants as well, at 1/4 the price. I'd agree with you, especially since you can still mount manual-only focusing M-glass via adapter like my Summicron 50mm f2. In fact, you could further argue that it makes more sense for more people, if you have the funds and will, to buy the X Pro 3 and apply this savings to glass. I'd agree again. And let's just say it. You could argue as well that the X Pro 3 makes more sense for more people than the CL2, again a function of price, the flip-down rear panel, weather sealing, and the phase detect autofocus that the CL doesn't have, although that hasn't stopped me before. I would agree once more, though the things that don't rock my world make the X Pro 3 a less certain thing for me personally. First, although the X Pro 3 sports a 3.7 million dot OLED EVF, it is still smaller, with worse eye relief, and simply not as easy for me to see nor focus manually as the nominally lower spec one in the CL, or the higher spec one in the XT3. 2. The particular camera I had sported the new Duracoat finish, and that thing picks up smudges like, I'm not going to get too creative about that, like they're going out of style. Third, in spite of Fujifilm's well-deserved reputation for ergonomics, the need to lift the shutter speed dial to change ISO means, for me, your mileage may vary once again, and that's fine, that the CL's unorthodox layout is notably faster to use in full manual mode. Actually, it's not just because of the ISO dial, which, as I recall, can be surmounted by assigning ISO to a function button and then using one of the control wheels. I am still waiting to hear back on that one since I don't have the camera with me now and it wasn't immediately obvious online. In any event, it's the one time where an homage to the past, something I'm predisposed to enjoy, runs counter to the opportunity presented to us in the digital era. I mean, we simply are not limited to a single ISO for the duration of, say, a 36 exposure roll of film in the analog world. I've found myself again and again, as has Claudia, constantly changing the ISO as we walk in and out of the shadows present in the glass, concrete, and steel canyons of New York City. The lack of IBIS is not a disadvantage compared to the Leicas because they don't have them either. But it is clear to me, it has always been clear to me, that IBIS is an important tool that allows one latitude in shutter speed not simply for shooting in low light, but in using motion blur selectively. As in an image like this one, taken just a moment before Claudia successfully helped me realize I was about to get hit. Let me sum it up this way. The X Pro 3 at the end of the day is in fact a modest technical upgrade to the X Pro 2, wrapped in a clear appreciation for whimsy, character, and what street photographers especially want, need, and enjoy. Contrary to what some of us may argue, I think it is a real success. Kudos to Fujifilm for figuring out how to navigate the path between giving an audience what it wants while doing it in a fiscally sound way. More pragmatically speaking, and to cut to the chase, if you want a compact, lightweight, photography-centric, though it shoots 4K video, beautiful 4K video as well, having the same processor as the X-T3, high-quality street kit, and are looking for an accessibly priced rangefinder-style body that just happens to offer arguably the best waist-level shooting experience out there in the hybrid space, the X Pro 3 should be at the very top of your list. Truly, this camera is not simply about nostalgia or gimmicks. The bottom hinged rear panel is the simplest to unfold and easiest to see for me. Not only does the flush left viewfinder intrude least, but the bottom hinge allows the rest of the camera and your own body to block more of the glare than any other panel I can recall. It is one of those rare circumstances where I'd prefer it to a flippy screen. But if you intend to use the EVF extensively, or you intend to shoot overhead, or you want to shoot videos as much as stills, you will likely prefer the X-T3 for its significantly higher magnification EVF, differently articulating rear screen, and more complete video feature set. You may, in any case, prefer the X-T3's $500 lower price. In fact, if price is a major barrier for you, or you want to go ever smaller, you could certainly look at a used X Pro 2 or something like the little Micro Four Thirds Panasonic Lumix GX9 mated to the Leica DG15 1.7, which is a fantastic combo. If, on the other hand, IBIS is critical path for you, the system implemented in the XH1 is very good and still just $1,000 right now with the grip. If, however, price is not an issue for you, at least not at this level, then yeah, my personal favorite remains the CL. Superior build, superior controls, superior feel and hand, superior EVF, superior glass, though only some people will notice it. And again, no articulating screen, no weather sealing, and no IBIS as we've already discussed. What can I say? I'm used to being a statistical outlier. But it should also be pointed out that you might go in another direction altogether, full frame, because a Sony A7 III is only a few $100s more. Radically different shooting experience, I grant you. And unless you usually shoot in very low light, wide open, or mostly shoot fast-paced sports, you're unlikely to see practical differences in image quality or autofocus performance. Still, it is worth checking out. Now, as we wrap this up, you may have noticed I've not really mentioned the difficulty of chimping with the X Pro 3's rear panel. That would be because it's not difficult, as I saw in the real world of the streets of New York. Nor have I spoken about the rear panel, which can be set to serve as an additional homage to the film days with its simulation of a film box end piece, or alternatively to the kind of display of the XH1. That would be because it's a nod and a smile, which I appreciate, but is not on the critical path in my personal decision-making process. In the end, I think it's fair to say that when it comes to APS-C camera systems, Fujifilm remains the best in the business for all-around value, completeness, and performance. And their X Pro 3 is the one to beat on that basis for street shooting too. A lovely combination of practicality and whimsy. But, hey, what do I know? This video is brought to you by Squarespace. From custom domains to beautiful websites using their easily customizable templates that you can have up and running in minutes. E-commerce. email and email marketing, SEO, analytics, and scheduling, Squarespace does it all and has done it for us for the last 11 years. If you are a small to mid-sized business in any industry, Squarespace is the place to go for all of your website needs. Hop over to www.squarespace.com/you for a free trial. And if you like what you see and want to move forward, receive 10% off your first order by using the discount code HUGH at checkout. Thanks, Squarespace. If you like what you've seen here today, please give a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, join the conversation in the comment section below because this is an exceptional audience. If you'd like help with a portfolio review, gear selection, finding or honing your artistic voice, sign up for a one-on-one mentoring video call via Zoom at 3bmep.com/booking. Finally, please consider supporting our work by using the no-cost You affiliate links down below, sending us coffee money via PayPal, or most especially, joining us on Patreon, links down below as well. However you choose to support us, as always, we thank you for it.